Welcome to the Defence Connect podcast, Australia's leading voice in national security and defence industry intelligence, direct from the nation's top policy and business experts.
Well, g'day everybody, Steve Kuper here at Defence Connect. I hope you're well, and we are I am joined in the studio by our gentle giant and resident fact checker, Rob Dougherty.
Indefatigable.
Bloody Liam giving us all these big words to use.
Yeah.
And the rose amongst the thorns, Bethany. How are you both?
Good.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah, it's been a quiet week, I hear.
Yeah, not much is happening.
Yeah. It's pretty quiet.
It's been a really rough week if you like your sleep.
Yeah. But we do jest, and I will say that for the internet pundits out there, we have been monitoring the situation very closely, and the situation we are referring to obviously is Operation Epic Fury, which is an epic name.
I was going to say it's
Roaring
kind of a cool
Lion,
name.
also a good one.
Yep. Yeah. Although I do prefer my own Gulf War 3 Bush Jamboree.
Gosh.
Rename it.
Yeah. Whether we'll see if we can make that one stick. But guys, it's been pretty.
A change in the world order.
Well, yeah. It's. I didn't want to say that it's the glass ceiling shattering, but it kind of is. And I think one of the things that struck me first and foremost is little old Iran is hanging in there. She's throwing punches left, right, and centre.
You got to throw everything out when you're in trouble.
Yeah. It's
Haven't they striked like 10 countries? Or like something like that?
Yeah. Let's go through it. So it's the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Crete.
I heard Jordan.
Greece. Oh, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan's got air bases.
Was that intentional or was it by accident?
I don't know.
They've got
I'm
a
not
US
too
air
sure.
base there.
US air base, yeah.
So that'll be
Yeah,
right.
they do, yeah.
Who else they got?
That's 7. So
It's a lot though.
it's a lot of countries.
Do you know Turkey there?
Did they hit Turkey?
I don't
Have
know.
they?
I
You're the
don't
fact
think so.
checker. Check that.
Have they hit Turkey? Fact
Yeah.
checking.
You're slacking on the job there, mate. But
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I don't think they've hit Turkey. It has been an interesting past couple of days for those of us monitoring the situation, and just overnight we saw
A ballistic missile was fired from Iran towards Turkey, but was intercepted
okay
by NATO.
Oh,
ballistic missile
did I
defense.
say Lebanon?
No.
Does it count? No, they wouldn't have fired on Lebanon because
Yeah, they have.
did they or did Israel?
Oh, did you say Qatar?
Oh, Qatar. Yeah,
Qatar's one, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So 8.
Oh, true. Maybe it was Iran. Israel,
Yeah.
not Iran.
But yeah, just overnight we saw the first sinking of a surface warship by an American submarine since the Second World War, which is, for anybody who hasn't seen the footage, I highly recommend you head over to the US Department of War website and give it a gander, because it's quite impressive to see just the ferocity of the firepower of the Mark 48 ADCAP heavyweight torpedoes.
They didn't even hit it in the middle. They hit it right at the back.
At the stern of the ship. And I didn't know this initially, but you can see in the infrared the little after it's hit and it's exploded, there's little white spots heading up, and they're actually sailors.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was thinking about this. If you're going to hit a frigate somewhere, and you're going to probably break the spine of the ship with a Mark 48 torpedo, if you hit it in the middle, that's going to be probably more deadly, I think, than hitting in the back. Right?
Well, it would be the most. Yeah.
I don't know if that's intentional or not. It'd be interesting to see what they say about that.
Yeah, it'd be the most efficient way for mechanism of killing it.
If you wanted to save as many people as you could, maybe you hit it in the back.
No, not necessarily.
Did anyone die or did they all get out?
I think we're missing.
Well,
30
Iran
or 40.
is missing 30 or 40 sailors. Yeah.
Unaccounted for, but the rest got out.
But the Americans and Israelis moved incredibly quickly. They hit the Ayatollah Khomeini. I can actually say that now because I've got a sore throat. They hit him, as well as the former president Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, a host of senior Republican Revolutionary Guard leaders.
They got the new Ayatollah elect, I think,
yes,
as well.
Yes, his son. And I did notice today, according to the New York Post, that he has been treated for impotence and struggled to talk with women. So we're already beginning the Napoleon is short and Hitler only had one testicle propaganda war here against Iran. But on a serious note, this has thrown the world for a complete six. Yeah. What are you guys seeing so far?
I'm just like, the speed of everything is very, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's very like
impressive.
I don't know if I would say impressive. I would say it's scary, the speed of everything, but
it's okay. They're on our side. US, US is an ally. I think Israel is an ally, right?
I don't think they're a formal ally. You're the fact checker. Check.
Tangential through the US, perhaps.
Yeah, it has been
fact checking.
Computer. The speed at which things have progressed is absolutely phenomenal, and the rate at which
I think it's just a diplomatic relationship. Yeah, there's no military thing there.
But the rate at which America, Israel, and the Gulf states are chewing through munitions is just it's mind blowing. I put a piece together the other day around the potential impact this could have on a Taiwan contingency, and just some of the facts of the consumption rate of munitions. During the 12-day war last year, the US and Israel used 150 THAAD missiles, which was then 25% of the world's total stock in 12 days. And then in 36 hours, I think they'd used 90.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I'll double check the figure. But it's just outrageous the amount, the rate at which they are just consuming munitions, and by all accounts, Patriot's not measuring up.
I'd be looking at the Patriot system, those interceptions, pretty seriously, because that cost to benefit ratio of hitting a Shahed drone, an Iranian Shahed drone that's fairly cheaply produced with a Patriot missile, is really not worth it.
But also, like some of the failures to intercept where of ballistic and cruise missiles, where you're firing three missiles off and still maybe only hitting it.
Yeah,
it's kind of concerning.
Yeah,
yeah.
When we look at Ukraine and the way they dealt with Shaheds, it took them years to come up with a solution where basically they get a helicopter, put a machine gun on sort of a side mount, and just machine gun the Shaheds from a couple 100 meters away.
Flak is back, baby.
Yeah, like aerial flak, I suppose.
Yeah. Hang on.
As a cost-effective solution.
Yeah, well, yeah. And in so just some figures here done by a US Air Force officer, Jahara Matasek, and I do apologize if I've mispronounced the name. 120 Block 4 and Block 5 Tomahawks. These are just some of the munitions that have been used. These are in the offensive category. 70 JASM and JASM ERs, 210 JDAMs, 50 joint standoff weapons. And then in the defensive category, the US Navy has used 180 SM2, SM3, and SM6 across their Aegis fleet deployed in the region. And then, so just remember that 150 figure over 12 days. Mm-hmm. The US and Gulf partners in total have expended a total of 340 Patriot Pac 2, Pac 3 missiles, and a combined total of 70 THAAD missiles over the past 36 hours.
Wow.
So,
sounds like Australia should get that Guio update, roll some cash out to get some missile production going.
Yeah. Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and Kongsberg.
Sell them some replenishment
Get started, guys. Get turning those. Like Khrushchev said, we turn missiles out like sausages. We need.
My God.
Well, they're going to need them. To restock. Yeah.
And it's a very serious challenge, because we've seen reports of American air defense capabilities, particularly Patriot and THAAD, systems are being redeployed from South Korea, or potentially being redeployed from South Korea to the Middle East, which leaves South Korea open to potential North Korean aggression. And then if you're Beijing, you're sitting there looking at this, licking your lips and going, hey,
Yeah.
Taiwan's looking pretty easy right now.
Wow.
They got to have that window though.
Well,
That-
and one of the windows is April.
Okay, that's really close.
Yeah.
This year?
Probably too close
Yes.
for planning wise.
No, not necessarily. You would assume that they've got all their op plans already in place. They just have to hit go, and everybody
Well,
knows.
how long would this have been planned for?
Well, it took them a month to move all the air and naval assets into place. And that's coming from across the world. You've got to remember that China's literally
Next door.
next door,
Yeah.
180 kilometres across the Strait of Water. And the second option this year is October. So they got two options.
Okay.
But President Trump is saying that this operation, at least from the American standpoint, is anticipated to last between 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
Which takes us
Yeah.
right through April into May.
Yeah. Do you reckon
Best
it'll go for
case
that long?
scenario as well. Sorry.
That's
Do you think it
that's
will
the
go for that
question.
long?
Do we think it's going to go that long? What do you think?
I don't even know. Like, they keep saying we're just getting started, haven't seen the worst of it yet, we're expecting more casualties. But it's like, maybe this is just because I don't have the whole entire history behind it. But it's like, if they've already killed him and they're like freeing the regime, what more? Like, why does it have to go for that long?
Because they'll have a successor.
Well,
Eventually.
wasn't that yesterday?
His
His son, yeah.
yeah, the next successor.
Yeah.
But then how do you
they
not
might just
like
have to keep whacking
prevent
them.
that? Yeah, like what happens now?
Well, yeah, that's a question, right? Do they get another Islamic extremist leader in the vein of Khomeini, or do they get a hardcore military extremist from the IRGC, or does the Shah make a return? But the question,
The Shah.
yeah,
Previous monarch.
Yeah.
Well, it's his son.
Yeah.
Pahlavi. And, there's that option there. But to do regime change of that description, that requires troops on the ground. And,
Like American troops.
well, it requires troops on the ground.
I can see a misstep here happening with Iran attacking all these neighbours that it hasn't previously with UAE and different countries. And I feel like there's a potential there for perhaps the US to pull back and some of those other countries to step in and say, hey, we're happy to take over some of the security concerns here because we've been drawn into this.
Well,
In like a bit of a coalition, like a more of a Middle East coalition. I wonder if that's an option on the table.
Well, it's a good question. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan have already kind of got a mutual defense pact, which has brought Saudi Arabia into, or technically brought it under the protection of Pakistan's nuclear umbrella. Whether or not Pakistan wants to engage in a ground war with the Iranians on their border while they're also simultaneously bombing Afghanistan and trying to fight the Taliban is a different question. And then there's the Israeli question. What does Israel do? How does it's not like
I can't see them sending troops in. That's a big commitment. Although their reservists have been
called
mobilised.
up. Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. They've been called up to the northern border, I think.
Maybe you just walk away and say, hey, the Iranian people can take a shot at overthrowing the IRGC. If they don't get it done, you just put your hands up and say, we did our best. We destroyed the nuclear equipment that was the issue. We gave the Iranian people a chance. It didn't work out. We'll come back in 5 years or 10 years.
But then
and
how
do
long
the
does
same
that go
thing
for?
again.
5 years, all these people having to die every 5 years.
But that was
Like, how
already
long
going
does that?
But
that was already going to happen. So
That's
Yeah.
not our problem.
yeah.
That's
No,
that's
yeah,
callous.
yeah.
That's not our problem. My question is, If
You still get 5 years of rebuild time, potentially, or however many years.
But
of
will that
rebuild
even
time.
happen though?
Well, so there's been some conversation around Iran is different to Iraq,
Okay.
and it is, because ethnically it's a far more homogenous society. They're a Persian people. They're not an Arab people. They're ethnically different to the Arabs, which is what you've got in a mixture of in Iraq. And then Syria is an Arab nation, Saudi Arabia obviously an Arab nation, all of those. The Gulf states are largely Arab. So the Iranians are, on top of the religious factor, they're ethnically a very different group of people in that part of the world. And I think there's 90 million of them. So in some ways, yes, it presents less complicating factors than what Iraq did. But the geography, the size, and then you've got to add in the complexity of going in and trying to potentially de-radicalize a nation that has been, for the better part of 50 years, been radicalized.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of like different responses. Like I'm seeing like
What are
a
you
lot
seeing?
of clips. Well, I'm seeing both. I'm seeing people that are like happy that like America's and Israel have done this, but then I've seen a lot of people like that are there that aren't happy with it. So it's like, how do you even get a consensus of what the people want?
Well, yeah, that's the question. But you're never, you're never going to be, you're never going to please everybody. I'm sure there were a lot of people in Germany circa 1945 that were quite happy that Hitler had gone, and then there were an equal number of people in Germany circa 1945 that weren't happy that Hitler had gone.
Yeah.
So
But this is more like is more
Yeah, well,
generational though. Obviously, like it's World War II was like, I mean, he was in since like the 30s, but like that was like a 10, 15 years, not over 50 years.
Yeah,
Like
but
it's more like ingrained.
But you look at the degree in which the propaganda machine was so powerful in Germany and compare it to the regime in Iran, you could say that, yes, Iran's had a far longer period of time, but the outcome in Germany over typical German efficiency was better over 15 years than what
There was
Iran.
probably less international information getting out.
Yeah,
of that this
Yeah.
time
yeah,
as
to
well.
a degree, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can use a VPN in Iran, assumably, and
Yeah,
you
well,
can get around some of that
Yeah.
propaganda.
Yeah. And what about you, Rob? What are you seeing?
I am seeing a little bit of that, the illegal invasion from a few different groups. Certainly the Greens put out a statement on the same day and said, we're not happy about this illegal invasion and things like that. But I think we do have to ground it in the reality that Iran has been at war with the US for the better part of 50 years and Israel as well. And if you go into your national parliament every time you meet and you say death to America, it's throwing a big spanner in the works to say, it's an illegal, activity. Really, Iran has been at war with the US for decades. Their actions through proxy agents such as Hamas, Houthi rebels, and Hezbollah has been ongoing for decades. That they've supplied weapons and funding, and from my point of view, that was through a plausible deniability.
Yep.
To say we're not doing this. It might be happening, but we're not doing this. And I think they called the bluff where they said, you can't actually get at us because even though we're supplying these weapons and funding, there's a bit of plausible deniability. But they called the bluff in the wrong moment in history. That would have worked in the early 2000s.
It would have worked under Obama. And
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the leader was.
No. I'm just saying. He said early 2000s,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like in the 2008 to 2016 timeframe, it would have worked as well.
Would have worked in the 90s, etc.
Well,
for
yeah.
decades, it would have worked. But they chose the one moment in history where it didn't.
Yeah,
work.
where there was one bastard mad enough to. Well, he's the other.
I don't view it as a political thing. I'll just say one more thing. I view it as the US cannot actually afford to do this plausible deniability game anymore. It's got that pacing rival in China, and it's got that opposite world order that it needs to compete against.
Of which Iran is quite quite a sizable part. And it's worth noting that Iran provides, fact check me on this, I believe it's around 20% of China's oil.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Checking.
computer. And then when you factor in Venezuela, which I think is around 5%, was 5% of China's oil.
Yeah.
You've just taken out a quarter of China's oil supply.
Yeah.
I've got that China buys over 90% of Iran's oil exports, but it doesn't have. I don't have an exact figure.
You can presume a lot, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to be a significant part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and that adds further complications and further colours the decision-making process for President Xi in Beijing. And I did see some open source intel last night that was saying that they have the Chinese have completely filled their 1.5 billion barrel strategic reserve.
Oh, wow.
Which would theoretically give them the capacity to ride out a potential blockade or ongoing issues in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So
Might save them some coin over the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be
As prices rise.
Yeah. I hope everybody went out and filled their car up on Sunday afternoon. I certainly did.
No,
I didn't.
Get ready to pay. I think.
Yeah. We're gonna see you destitute and poor next week, mate. It's been interesting, and I don't know about either of you, but have you guys been seeing some of the narrative around what's prompted this, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've heard about it in the office.
Yeah.
Heard about it in the office.
Subtle nod.
Yeah. No. I'm asking. What have you heard?
Yeah. Well, Rubio's speech was very interesting.
His doorstop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend you going and having a thorough watch of what Secretary Rubio says in regards to why
What
America,
prompted it.
what prompted the decision to strike. And the manufacturing numbers were quite terrifying. The fact that Iran is capable of producing 100 missiles a month, separate to their kamikaze drone program, and America can only produce or procure 6 to 7 interceptors a month, which is terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, do most of the countries like in the Middle East have like the interceptors?
Yes. Yeah, most of it. So Israel uses slightly different interceptors.
Yeah.
They do have common parts with Sidewinder and AMRAAMs and Patriot and things like that.
Yeah.
They have different seeker heads and different bits and pieces. But the Gulf states like your Saudi Arabias, your Qatar, or Qatar, Bahrain and UAE all operate Patriot, THAAD, all of those American systems. So they'll be drawing on American resupply as well. But the question is, can America resupply
all of them
while consuming stocks of their own?
Something I'm just looking up as well when you're talking about the missile production in Iran. I just want to point out something this is from the United Nations Sustainability Development Group. So this is from last year, halfway through last year. And it's saying 2/3 of the UN's $75 million annual budget in Iran is dedicated to humanitarian efforts.
Yeah.
So there's a big budget there. You're keeping the Iranian people alive, which is great. We all love that. But also the Iranian state doesn't have to pay for that. And so that's coming
so
from
their
outside.
money's going somewhere else.
They can afford to spend on missile production.
Yeah.
They might have a limited budget, but they can really use it.
But also
and have that supplementary for their own citizens.
Parts, labour, components, raw materials, and all of that sort of stuff is far cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think this goes to a larger point that I think the UN has really dropped the ball on Iran on this plausible deniability thing there as well. It hasn't coped with that.
The UN dropping the ball? Colour me shocked.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we're past that age now, but People need to catch up.
It has been interesting. I don't know about you guys, but it has been very interesting seeing people complaining about the assault on international law.
I haven't really seen much about that.
Yeah, there was Larissa Waters was saying, "Oh, this goes against international law." Former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull said the same thing. When it's very clear that they are people who've never been in a fist fight.
Well, Australia wasn't told anything.
Why would we be told something? It doesn't directly affect us.
Because there are over 100,000 of our people in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, but that's not America's responsibility.
I'd be worried
I feel
about
like-
a leak from an Australian side as well.
Yeah, I
You're
feel
not-
like you should be told if they're going to launch a major attack.
Why?
Because there's people there. We have bases there and stuff.
No, we don't.
Not bases, but like offices and embassies, and we have people there. I feel like they should know. I mean, maybe there's obviously more complex.
We do have
way.
people there.
Yeah.
From an administration point of view in the Middle East, I think that's right.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have any operational people involved in this.
No.
As far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more of a complex reasoning of why we're not told this. But I don't know. I feel like allies should be told when a major strike is going to happen. Like, is that? I don't know. I feel like.
But what happens if you can't trust the ally not to?
It's not. I wouldn't say you can't trust the ally. It's that more people become involved,
There's more chance of it slipping out.
Yeah, your operational secrecy becomes worse.
Yeah.
And I think in particular, we've heard some comments that this whole timeline for this operation was moved up to get Khomeini
Yeah.
Before he escaped to Moscow.
or wherever he was going to escape to. But they basically had hacked the traffic cameras allegedly and found him.
I read about that.
And they brought up the timeline to get him. The more people you tell about that start, the less chance you are of being able to complete that mission. I do think that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like, I don't know, we get like left in the dark a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't done, we've certainly had operations in the Middle East previously, but I don't think we've committed any significant assets to this operation.
We have significant assets to commit to this operation. Sorry, that was just me thinking out loud.
Have we got a ship there?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It was me asking a sarcastic rhetorical question.
Yeah. And the last one, I don't think we committed a ship to either.
No.
No,
we were asked to commit a vessel to help with the counter-drone operations in the Red Sea and dealing with the Houthis, who have been suspiciously quiet lately. I suspect that's because they don't want to get another spanking, but who knows how long that holds out.
Yeah.
And there are some theories running around that Hezbollah and Iran, what they're currently doing is utilizing their older weapon systems to deplete the interceptors.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
To make sure that their hypersonics aren't as impacted by a counter-strike. And I've seen some of the hypersonics, and it dead set looks like something out of Star Wars. And that laser, the iron beam,
from Israel,
that you sent last night looks like something out of Star Wars.
What's the iron beam?
It's a
direct energy
weapon. Yeah.
How is that legal? Are they?
Which
are
is in
those
vogue.
kind of weapons like?
Oh, you can use them against drones. You just burn
Can
out a
you?
motor on
Yeah.
a drone. Yeah. I don't know if they've been used. What you're alleging is sort of human trials.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happened yet.
I'm pretty sure.
They would maybe know what the result is, but I don't think it would have been tried
direct
on.
energy weapons have been used before against human targets. In the US embassy or consulate in Havana, which is where we get the...
But that's not direct energy.
Yes,
That's
it is.
That's audio,
No,
isn't it?
it's direct energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was under the assumption that was audio.
No. It could be a mixture. Could
Yep.
be a mixture.
Could be a bit of both.
It could be, as Trump calls it, the discombobulator. That's definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, should I do my Trump impersonation?
Yeah, go for it.
The discombobulator.
I don't know. I feel like the weapons, like the types of weapons being used, is where I get very like. I don't like
There's
this,
certainly an argument of where do you draw the line, because The last military parade we saw in China, there was directed energy weapons there that were on display. We don't know how functional they are, but they were there.
Yep.
Certainly there's hypersonics there, and the Western world is looking at directed energy weapons as well and hypersonics, but there are things that we're not looking at.
Yeah.
And so you have to wonder what the opposite side of the world is doing. Russia particularly has a bad record in terms of different chemical agents and things like that. And so there is a line there that the Allied nations are not competing against.
Yeah.
But as we go into the future, there's going to be several lines, I think, with autonomous systems that are able to track and target, without much oversight. There's going to be some big questions about how far we go with those systems.
Well, the Shahed, the American version of the Shahed drone, Shahed.
I don't know what it's called.
No, I'm giving it a name, Shahed.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. I believe the official name is the Lucas.
Right.
Lucas
right,
drone. America's copy of the Iranian Shahed is doing really, really well by all accounts, and it's interesting to see us take, to your point, Rob, taking some of the examples of tried and true methods implemented against us and turning them back on adversaries.
I might have been hooked by some US propaganda, but I did see they reckon it's better than the original.
Oh, of course it's better than the original. Damn straight it's better than the
lawnmower engine in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, they put a Dodge Hellcat engine in there, and that'll have some go.
Yeah, proper one, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anything else?
I do think as well, we were talking before about plausible deniability. This part of this Venezuela thing as well, and Iran, we saw more of the shadow tanker fleet is being captured. Recently, we saw France has captured a couple of these. India, I believe, has captured a couple shadow oil tankers that are flagged under different nations, but really they're Russia and China. And I think Belgium, France, and India are the couple of the main drivers there.
I did note that France is sending the Charles de Gaulle and its supporting carrier group to the Eastern Mediterranean as well.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
Yeah. And for the history buffs, the Greeks are off to fight the Persians again. They have deployed, I think it's 2 frigates to help in the Mediterranean as well, and to help them defend Crete. So everything old is new again, which is fantastic.
I don't know. This stuff is just like Iran has an internet blackout right now.
Yep.
Like they don't have access to anything going on. Like that must be so scary to live in that and just be in the dark, not knowing. Like for just the everyday people, you know what I mean? And this is my whole.
I think it's probably a fairly common occurrence for.
But
I
this
would
is
suspect
my whole,
that it's fairly normal for them.
Perspective of being very anti-war and that kind of thing.
Being very woke.
Being very anti-war and not agreeing with a lot of this stuff. It's like the people that are affected by this are just living their lives. It's not I just don't. Obviously, there's more of a reason, but I don't understand why they can't just kill the leader, get out of that regime, and then just let the people live. Why are we striking schools?
Well, there's some questions around the validity of those claims.
150 girls died.
No, there's questions around the validity of those claims, whether or not there was a school hit. Now, I agree with you. They shouldn't be striking schools.
Yeah.
Depends on, there's different infrastructure there. Certainly in Gaza, we saw tunnel networks being built under hospitals and stuff. And I don't know about this particular situation, but
no. But
certainly there's a lot of factors there.
There is. And in any conflicts, there's going to be collateral damage.
Yeah, no, I recognize that. I'm not blind to that, but I think it's, I don't know, it's just these everyday people just always suffer in these situations, and it's at the hand of a lot of different people, but it's just sad.
If we can pull the Iranian people out of that situation though, and have them, make their own destiny.
Yeah.
And I hope that Iran becomes a democracy. I really do. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be good to see it happen. If that was the case, there's going to be some short-term
there's going to be some
damage,
birthing pains,
unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's going to have to happen.
And I think what we also need to remember is that, to use an analogy, we can load the gun and give it to them. If they can't overthrow the government with their own, they have to fight this battle themselves.
Yeah.
We can help, but it is not for us to overthrow a government.
No,
And
I get that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think we in the West need to be very, very careful about attempting to redraw boundaries in the Middle East, because it has not typically worked out well for us.
Yeah.
And any outcome from this, regardless of what the outcome is, I don't want to see Western Europe, the United Kingdom, or Europe in general, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, the United States, expected to pick up the tab and the costs associated with the refugees that are born out of this. I think that's, I don't, and if the comments made by Secretary Rubio are to be believed, it should be Israel. It should be Israel. It should be Egypt. It should be Jordan. It should be Turkey that foot the bill for this. Israel in particular, which at the moment, unfortunately, that's going to see
they're
some.
never going to do that.
But hey, that's time to put your money where your mouth is. If you are as humane and you care about these people and you care about the Gazans and the Palestinians and the Iranian people as much as what you say you do, put your money where your mouth is.
It would be good to see, as I was saying before, a Middle Eastern coalition to say, we'll take some of the responsibility of covering this into the future, and that way US can pull out its troops and stuff.
Ever happen?
No.
Yeah,
No, because those nations are all utterly dependent on American security.
Yeah.
It is in their best interest strategically for Iran to be stabilised, though.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is. But what goes into the sausage and how the sausage comes out are two completely different matters, and they're things that you have to grapple with. And then I come back to the different ethnicity, the ethnic issues that you have with the Persians, and then you've got the Kurds mixed in there, and then you've got the Yazidis mixed in there, and the Arabs, and then the Palestinians who are their own kind of ethnic subgroup, and then you've got the Israelis who are their own ethnic subgroup. You've got all of these competing ethnicities. Then you add on top, you've got historical enmity,
religious
differences. You've got all of it. It's like the Balkans, circa 1990, or 91-ish time frame, where I don't think you're going to get to a point where these people are capable of living side by side.
Well, what if there's sort of more of a caretaker mode, like with, you mentioned the Palestinians, like a board of peace scenario?
Well,
those can't do anything though.
Well, they have peacekeeping forces. I know Indonesia's put up their hand for Gaza.
They're still not free, They're still under this oppression every day. And these diplomatic moves that are the UN and stuff, the message is good, but there's no action. They're not enforceable in any way. So it's
well, I think it's important to.
But the UN is not the board of peace. The board of peace is EU.
I think it is
redevelopment sort of initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important to remember that this is actually when the United Nations should be stepping in and trying to resolve the situation.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and it's a uncomfortable reality that everybody seems to have conveniently forgotten right up until recently, but the enforcement arm of the United Nations is in effect the United States military. The enforcement.
Is there a...
No, the enforcement arm of the United Nations, and anything the United Nations wants to do, is the United States military.
Yeah, but they're not enforceable though.
Well, they are.
None of their...
their binding resolutions are enforceable, and when they are enforced, it's typically by the United States military.
Yeah, but when have they ever been enforced?
Iraq, 2003. Rwanda.
Enforced and successful though. You know what I mean?
Rwanda.
Yeah, I don't know.
the
I just feel
Balkans. There's been a couple of successful examples.
Yeah, true.
Certainly the funding for the UN, a lot of that would be American, I imagine.
Yeah, but it's not. You don't see Russia or China putting their troops forward or their military assets forward. Yeah, it's important to remember that for all the people complaining about, oh, this flies in the face of international law, and it's.
Well, if we're talking about before, we were talking about that UN funding to Iran that was 75 million per year or something like that. Perhaps some of that could be set aside for a peacekeeping force, like Indonesia, or someone to put up their hand and say, hey, we'll have a go at this, and the rest is in the rebuilding sort of phase. That would be a good scenario.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I'm just like, how do you rebuild and overthrow the government if what you've been shown for the past 50 years is the opposite? Like, how do you know any different? Because the people overthrowing the government aren't going to be 70-year-olds.
No, yeah. but they have seen the young people and students.
Currently.
Yeah. Well, the Islamic Revolution started with the students and, ironically enough, the feminist movement in Iran.
Yeah.
Now, the push against the Islamic Revolution is coming from the students.
I mean, it always happens from students, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time,
yeah.
Most of the time, yes, and most of the time they're useful idiots for more nefarious forces and actors at play. But they wouldn't be acting in isolation. They would. I have no doubt that intelligence agencies across the world, whether that's the CIA or Mossad, would be working to ferment those organisations. And give them the capacity to at least present some sort of challenge to the Revolutionary Guard.
Yeah?
Yeah. I would not be shocked. We know that Israel has been funding the Kurds, which I'm sure Turkey is pleased with. But there are. I have no doubt that there are intelligence agencies seeking to ferment that. Then you've got to add on the pro-royalists who are pro the return of the Shah.
Yeah.
And you could theoretically cobble together this coalition of pro-democratic, anti-revolutionary, pro-monarchy coalition that could theoretically present a sizable challenge to the regime.
Yeah.
You've just got to, unfortunately, kill enough of the regime leadership and make an example of them for the middle and the lower ranks to go, hang on a second, this isn't.
Yeah.
But the transition point is, okay, how do you transition from the revolutionary government and its brutality into let's say a constitutional monarchy the way the United Kingdom is?
Yeah.
Where they have a parliament, which, Iran does have a parliament. It's just radical. Without splintering the country because of calls for retribution and retaliation.
Settle the scores of
So do you follow the South African example whereby you have a commission that is set up, and if you come forward and you almost like public confession, you come forward and say, this is what I did. This is my role within the regime, and you're completely truthful and honest.
Yeah.
The slate is wiped clean.
Do you think that?
I think the US government has offered, if IRGC people surrender, they've offered some in
amnesty kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you guys think that that will get to that point?
Well, hey, you got to remember that after the Second World War, a lot of the police and law enforcement and counterintelligence people that we set up in Germany were all former SS officers.
Yeah. The test would be, I think, in that scenario, it's well and good for the US to say, hey, we'll give you some indemnity and for what you've done, but then the Iranian people
have to agree to
accept that, and that's a different matter.
Yeah,
they've been
how compassionate and how forgiving are you going to be if old mate Mohammed down the road has been
fairly brutal regime,
regime, apparatchik, keeping his foot on the throat of dissent in the village and whatever. Like, odds are you're going to want to go and hang him by his member and make an example of him, right? So you've got to, it's that balance that comes down to that I don't think anybody's got right yet. And I'm concerned that because in a lot of ways it seems like America has been pushed into this. And again, if you don't believe me, go and watch the full doorstop interview with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah. Basically, to paraphrase that as well, he said that the Israelis were going to go ahead with their operation. That may have resulted in some Iranian retaliation against US air bases in the area. And so the US was in a situation where they had to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Against disadvantage later.
Yeah. So I have one thought on that, and it is a question. Who's the superpower in this relationship? Because it doesn't seem like America was the superpower in that relationship. Now, we've seen in the past couple of days a whole host of different theories running around. I'm not going to entertain any of those. There's no point in entertaining any of those. My point being is that I don't necessarily believe that, at least at this stage, enough thought has been given to the outcomes of this.
By who?
America and Israel.
Like they haven't given enough thought, is what you're saying?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a plan for what happens when they stop dropping bombs.
Damn.
And on that cheery note,
Yeah. Good-o.
yeah, I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Rob, Bethany,
Special edition, Iran edition.
yeah. Hey, Gulf War 3, Bush Jamboree.
Every time I hear the Shah, all I can think about is Phil from The Sopranos.
Yeah, I know. I get the same thing.
Like every single time, that's all I see. Anyway.
Anybody who's familiar with The Sopranos, you will know what we are referring to. And on that bombshell, no pun intended there.
Oh, dear.
For people who want to stay up to date with the latest in defence and defence industry, head over to defenceconnect.com.au, or you can find us on all your social media outlets bar TikTok. Until next time, bye-bye.